We are digging into another deck today, this one being one of my favorite Pokeboys, the Greninja EX Battle deck, with a play level of 1. Start here. So it should be noted here off the bat, off the rip, that I am not a professional player. This is not going to be a, let's dig into this deck and see what should be swapped out and what's good and what's bad. This is just like a first look. This is for entertainment. I am not a professional. I don't play the card game much at all anymore, as far as actually playing goes. I'm mostly a collector, so we're looking at this from more of a collector's point of view. That doesn't mean that I won't be examining some of the cards. So I've actually been sitting on this deck for a little bit. I still think it's like modern year. I don't remember. 2023, close enough. So I don't know how relevant it is anymore, but of course it comes with an EX token. There's no point. Fine, I'll do it. It comes with this thing just kind of teaching you about special conditions, and then I believe one of these, is a list of what you can do on your turn. More special conditions. You have a thing of markers. Oh, I just kind of tore that one a little bit, but this is basically just an advertisement. So we have our Greninja here. It kind of tells you a little bit about the deck. And then its counterpart, I guess, was the Kangaskhan EX. We have a quick start rolls, which it does look like they also themed these off of the two counterpart decks, being water and normal, so that is interesting. They could, like, just not do that, unless this actually specifies this exact deck. I don't think it's a thing that they normally do. Like, I'm pretty sure that that's not a normal thing. That's a more, like, special products. Yeah, this doesn't really... isn't specific. Then finally, we have a little mini poster looking thing for the EX Battle deck, and on the back side, it is a playmat. Now, we can start getting into the good stuff, starting off with the Greninja EX. This is promo 54. So of course, this being the main theme, we should at least look here. Stealthy Shuriken. This attack does 40 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Doesn't apply weakness and resistance for benched. Okay, I kind of zoned out there. So yeah, this thing can just straight up attack the bench, and you can ignore weakness and resistance, which could be useful or it could be detrimental if you are attacking the bench. And then Torrential Slash for 120 plus for only 2 energy. If your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this attack does 120 more damage. That is pretty wild. Real useful card there. Very heavy hitter. But I don't believe I've heard of Greninja really being a thing in the meta. Of course, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've really seen much Greninja in the meta. I know Radiant Greninja is. I've seen that used in a handful of decks. Wow, this thing is a lot of energy. And then we have Demoneth to draw 3 cards for just some deck cycling. We have 4 of those. Great Ball. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Pokemon you find there and put it back into your hand. We have Froakie. Try bouncing. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. Again, pretty simple, basic for a basic, level 1, base stage Pokemon. You don't usually care much about what they can do when your end goal is just to get them evolved up quickly. Quaxley, we just have Pound and Kick. Wiglet, that are just basic fodder. So then whenever we evolve our little Froakie, we get Strafe. You may switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Okay, kind of useful. You could just kind of do, like, running dashes. Like, let's say you had 2 of these out on the field. I don't know how useful it would be, but you could, like, attack and then attack to swap them back and forth each time. So if they're dealing damage to them, it's almost like you're doubling their health pool. So instead of having 90 HP each, they would effectively have 180 HP. So they would have to work their way because they can only hit one at a time. Not a terrible idea until one of them's taken out. But I'm sure that you would prefer to do that swap to get something else out onto the field. And using him just kind of as a placeholder until you can get something ready on your bench. That's just my guess. Either or could work. So we do have our starter here, the Quackavole. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So it's kind of similar to the tricks you would do with the Miraidon deck using just throwing out energies. Not the most useful, though. Then you have Hydro Kick for 140. It's weird that they put Quaxwell behind that, but that's just, kind of basic for a stage 2. Bug Trio, Entwining Entrapment. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. Again, could be useful as like fodder. Lapras, Hail. His attack does 10 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon. Okay, could be kind of useful, because what's max on bench? 5, so that would be 60 at max if they had a full party. Oh, I read that wrong. I should mention, real quick, I'm dyslexic. I read things wrong. This does 10 to each of their Pokemon, not 4 each. I read 2 as 4, apparently. So, yeah, it could be useful. I mean, it's a good, like, AoE, essentially. You could hit their entire bench and their active. Again, I don't see, like, a lot of these cards being super meta at all. But, I mean, I suppose, you know, for a basic that you can just throw out there, no evolution required, 3 energy to do 100 damage isn't terrible. Delibird, double draw to draw 2 cards. Alright, then we're to the standard trainers, that I'm sure these are all things we've seen 100 times. Yeah, that's a search for evolution Pokemon. Shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 5 cards, basically just resetting. Nest Ball, that lets you search for a basic Pokemon. Switch, pretty simple. Clavel, what do you do again? Search a deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon with 120 HP or less. Reveal them and put them in your hand. Having to reveal them is kind of terrible. It is nice that you can do 3, but it limits them to being basic and under 120 health. So for things like that Lapras that we were looking at, he would actually probably be the main reason that I would have guessed that trainer is in here. Because he's under 120, he's basic. You could immediately throw him out. And you could do up to 3, so you can even grab both your Lapras and maybe a Delibird. And just, you know, get Hail ready on the bench, you know what I mean? Just to do some AoEs, I suppose. I still don't think it's super useful. This card might be in certain circumstances, but I'd say it's kind of rare, and it makes sense that there's only 1 in this little basic deck. Of course, energy retrieval to grab 2 basic energies. Only 1 is a little odd. Pokegear, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a supporter card you find there and put it in your hand. Shuffle, okay, cool. Hold on, let's you find a supporter. How many supporters were there even? Okay, yeah, I forgot about Jack and the Youngster. I was gonna say, there is no way that they put that in there just to find Clavel faster when they could have just done a second Clavel. Okay, that makes sense. And then a single potion, again, it's whatever. Well, that was the Greninja EX deck. Usually I also kind of take a look at the deck box. I don't know why I kind of skipped over that earlier. But the deck boxes are kind of boring for these basic EX battle decks. I actually hate them. I've gone on rants about them in previous videos. Suffice it to say, I hate it. There's nothing on the outside that tells you that this is a Greninja deck. It does tell you it's water, which is nice. Like, they could do something there. So when they're, like, stacked up or something, just something, even just not just green. They could just have a little symbol of, like, the water symbol. I don't care, just something. Yeah, their deck boxes have dramatically gone downhill, in my opinion. But now it's time for the bonus card of the day. Explanation is going to be down there in the corner. And actually, I think I have some cards that I got recently I forgot to throw in here. It is what it is. We have a penny-sleeved card. The sleeve seems a little odd. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing that, like, almost texture to it. It's not like a thick, like, texture-backed card, though. Like, sleeve. It's just like a basic penny sleeve. Maybe it's just old. So let's see. We have a bit of whitening on the corner, small dot on the back. This card isn't, like, super beat. As far as what year? I'm really struggling to think here. I don't want to go too old, because I'm basically doing a fully blind guess. Like, trying to guess years based on the back of the card's already challenging, but this one isn't giving me any good info. I'm gonna say 2019. Oh, how close was I? Holy God! Look right down there. Oh, it's really shaky. 2019. Look at that. I am honestly super proud of that. What guess? Oh, I almost had 2020 as it came out. I changed it to 2019 because I don't think 2020 had, you know, a crazy release schedule for sets, and so I feel like you have a higher chance of getting something, you know, in the late teens. But we have the Greninja and Zoroark GX Tag Team card. Tag Team was one of my favorites, and actually, they kind of fell off. Tag Team was at the end of its life. They stopped doing it around the time that I got back into Pokemon card collecting. Like, it was probably around 2019. when, you know, I got my hands on a couple of them, and then, like, they were out of print, man. You just couldn't find them anymore. So my collection of tag teams is rather small. So whenever I see one, especially like this, that has a Greninja on it, which I didn't even think about, what are the odds? How many cards do I even have in here? Like, look at that. Okay, there's like, I don't know, 20 or 30 if I had to guess. I'd say probably closer to like 20 cards in here. And we pull probably statistically, the only Greninja card in the box. This feels staged. You'd have to go and watch. You have to be an active viewer of mine or go watch other videos to understand that I don't stage these things. I don't really have a reason to. Most people don't watch this late in a video anyways. But, okay, very happy to add this thing to the collection. So, on screen, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and link one of the World Championship decks. I guess I'll do the colorless Lugia, because that one was kind of interesting. And, of course, I'm gonna have a playlist of all of my Pokemon videos on the screen. I really do hope that you guys have enjoyed, and hopefully, I'll see all of you next time. Goodbye for now.